Some time ago, I've decided to try out the linear progression in my training. And I really liked it, don't get me wrong. I really like the idea of constantly adding on more weight on every single workout. It was pretty exciting, I really enjoyed it, until it ended. Basically, the general advice is to, after your linear progression ends, that means after you can't add any more weight on your next training session, you just don't feel strong enough to add any more weight, even the smallest amount, that is when you should do a reset, which basically means you drop the weight by like 10 to 20% and you just start linearly progressing again, hopefully this time getting to higher weights. And I did exactly that. However, the problem with this approach is that after the reset, you're just using the same exact weights you have already used before. Besides that, you literally go from making PRs on every single workout, every workout being challenging as fuck, you have to hype up for every single set, and suddenly you go from that to doing like sets of 5 with ridiculously low weights that doesn't challenge you at all. You even feel like it's not doing anything to your body. You feel like it's not causing any adaptation. I don't even have to tell you that it's just boring as fuck to repeat the same exact weights for like second, third or even fourth time. You don't feel motivated at all to train, you just go there because that's what your training program says, but you don't really feel that motivational excitement inside you, you know what I mean? In my case at least, the whole joy I got from training, the whole reason why I trained in the first place was like immediately gone when I done that. So it's really not fun. I really don't know how people can stick to such training programs where you just keep repeating the same exact stuff. And sure, eventually you progress to your last PR where you ended on the last cycle. But from there on, you're progressing every workout for maybe like a week or maximum 2 weeks, and then it's another reset. I heard some people are like really motivated by seeing progress. Meanwhile, some people are just really motivated by enjoying every workout. And I'm definitely the latter. I'm not a ladder, I'm the latter. So I really need to have enjoyment in my workouts. I really need to have fun. So I really didn't wanted to like ditch the whole concept of linear progression altogether. I wanted to find a solution. And basically I did. I stumbled upon a man called Johnny Payne, a man who discovered a training system called Grayskull LP, which is in short GSLP. I've read his whole ebook about this program, and basically at first sight it looks like a typical linear progression program, but there is one distinct difference. Instead of doing 3 sets of 5 strict sets, you do 3 sets of 5 plus sets. That basically means you do 2 sets of 5, and then your last set is a set to failure, is an AMRAP, as many reps as possible. And that, you would think that it's a really small change, but bro, that makes a huge fucking difference. Let me explain to you why. Let me show you an example of how your progress might look like if you're using this method. So the first visible difference is that even if your cycle ends, even if you are no longer able to add more weight on every single training session and you do a so-called reset and you drop down to lighter weights, you're still making PRs on every single workout. What do I mean by that? Basically, instead of doing PRs in weight, you do PRs in repetitions. For example, as you can see here on the graph, in the week 3, we did 13 repetitions with 110 kg in our last set. Meanwhile, after the second cycle starts, we get 17 repetitions in the last set with the same 110 kg weight. And exactly the same situation happens for literally every weight you're using. On every single weight, you get a chance to set a new PR for repetitions. And that, if you didn't realize by now, that makes a huge fucking difference. Again, suddenly the motivation is sky high. Suddenly you get excitement about every single workout because you know you can do your best, you can challenge yourself, and you can really set a nice PR on every single workout. And not only we are like motivated to train all the time, we can also be sure that we produce adaptations on every single training session, even on these first workouts in the cycle. With the typical linear progression, when you're doing just 3 sets of 5, when you drop down after the reset, you're using very light weights, and it often feels like you're not causing any adaptations at all. It's just so fucking light, you know? And with that GSLP program, you're doing your plus sets. That means you're just pushing to failure on your last set, which always produces some kind of adaptations. Especially, think about it, if you have been training for some time, you've been climbing to higher and higher weights, you will be doing like 2 sets of 5, and then on your first set maybe like 9, then maybe 7, then maybe 5, and then finally you fail a set, so you do 2 sets of 5 and then 1 set of like 4. And that's when you do a reset. And look what happens now. Suddenly, instead of doing just 3 sets of 5, you also do 2 sets of 5, but on your third set, you do anywhere from like 12 to even 20 repetitions. And if you didn't realize, that is totally different kind of stress for your body. 15 reps compared to like 5 reps is a completely different stimulus. And if you didn't know, variety, providing different types of stress all the time, is just amazing for hypertrophy. Also, if you look at rep ranges, with every single reset you get, you're suddenly doing like 17 reps in one set, 15 reps, 12 reps even. That is way more efficient for building and growing muscles than just doing your strict 3 sets of 5. So with GSLP, with that method of training, with that method of linearly progressing, you're not only being excited about every single workout, you're also growing a lot more. The hypertrophy is just through the roof, and I've experienced that on my own skin. Thanks to these high volumes after every reset, you also get to condition your joints. Your joints are literally healthier because of that. Because of you do more repetitions, you pump more blood onto them. It's also very efficient for just drilling the technique of the lift. And I talked about this in my last video. The technique, having a proper technique, coordination, confidence under the bar is incredibly important. It has a huge impact on your total strength if you just have that muscle memory, that perfect technique for a certain lift. And if you have such high volumes, you will learn and drill that technique a lot quicker than just with these strict 3 sets of 5. And as you can see on the graph, there is only 1 day of deload after the reset. With regular linear progression programs, you're usually doing like a full week of deload. That usually means 2 light days for each muscle group. And with this program, you only do 1 day of deload. And you might wonder why. With GSLP, after a reset, we are immediately jumping onto AMRAPs again, onto setting new reps PRs again. So why do we do only 1 day of deload? Won't that be too little for us? Won't our body be just under-recovered if we just, as I said, jump straight into setting new repetition PRs? And the answer is basically no. Because after a reset, we start providing completely different stimulus for our body, which, if you didn't know, acts almost as well for recovery as deloads does. In United States, there was like a very popular powerlifting gym created by Louis Simmons. It was called Westside Barbell. These were some of the best powerlifters on the planet. And their very unique method of training was just providing a different kind of stress every single week. They have done that by providing variation in the type of exercise they were doing. So for example, in the first week they have done a regular bench press, second week bench press with a resistance band, third week bench press with chains. And what that basically did, it provided a different kind of stress to your body. And they basically maxed out every single week. With only 1 variation of an exercise, there is no way you would be able to do that. It would be just an overload for your body, just too much fatigue. But if you use different kinds of stress, you can just bypass that. You can suddenly train really hard and still recover because you're constantly just providing a different kind of stress to your body. And this is exactly why this method only requires 1 day of deload. So honestly, I'm just shocked how good it works compared to the standard linear progression. And just to recap everything. First benefit, you get to stay psychologically engaged and excited about every training session, even those after the reset. Because immediately after a reset, you go and you start setting PRs in the repetitions, how many repetitions you do with each and every weight. Second benefit, you build significantly more muscle, further improve your technique, and you make your joints healthier and stronger by accumulating a lot more volume when you work with lower weights. So these are all just benefits of using lower weights and doing more volume, which you don't get in regular linear progression programs. The third benefit, only 1 day of deload. Amazing benefit. I hate deloads, I don't know about you, so I really love this one. And the fourth benefit, the whole progress is very likely a little bit faster, because when you drop the weights after a reset, you don't just repeat 3 sets of 5, which is not challenging at all for you, but you actually do some meaningful work in the last set. So this is what I talked about in the beginning. Oftentimes when you just, after a reset with a regular linear progression, you do 3 sets of 5 with like a ridiculously low weights, and you feel like you're not causing any adaptations with that weight. And that oftentimes is the case actually. But with GSLP, even after a reset, you still produce adaptations. You still have gains in muscle and in strength. So it makes sense that you would actually progress a little bit faster thanks to this reason with GSLP compared to a regular linear progression. So yeah, this is pretty much it. This is something I just wanted to share with you, because after I discovered this system, GSLP, I was just shocked how well it works. So I really wanted to share it with you guys. Maybe some of you are running a linear progression program right now and are so fucking bored with all these resets and using the same weights all the time. So this is like a gift from the heaven from you, this video. You will really enjoy this system. If you have any question, as always, drop them in the comments. If you want me to explain something specific, also write a comment about it. See you in the next one. Peace out.